Hey there, it's Tuesday afternoon still, and I'm here with card number 2. So actually my last video, I quickly put together 3 cards, and since I haven't got called out to help with anything yet, I'm just going to keep rolling here. So I have a beautiful, unfortunately, sympathy card, but of course you could switch it up and just put a different sentiment, but I hear so often that this is the card that is needed most. Like, you just need to have them on hand, and so I always like to have lots of ideas for this, and I also like to have like one per class that we make of sympathy cards usually, just because people seem to need them. So let me get my camera turned around here and show you the same bundle that I worked with earlier, or the whole suite actually I worked with earlier, the Peaceful Garden suite, Peace on Earth bundle, if you want to call it that, with the stamps and everything. And here I'm going to show that same, and you'll be going, oh, here it is again, that same, I want to call it fun fold, but it's more just like a layout because I don't think it folds anything fun, but the dies make it kind of look like a fun fold. But before I show you other samples that make you go, aha, now I know what she's talking about, I always like to start with where this comes from in the mini catalog. And it's on pages 32. We see all the fun samples. 33 has the products. I'm not going to go into those because I just did on my previous video. And then these. And something that I didn't show is if you go into the catalog a little bit further, pages 46 and 47 has a great scrapbooking layout here and shows the same paper. But then there's also a 12 by 12 two-tone paper pack too that has all of those same coordinating colors to match up with that, and then a fun sticker sheet too. So a lot of times I try and have these on hand at my in-person event. So if this is something that you want, if it's just the paper, or if you like the paper and the sticker sheets, or even the two-tone to have a complete set, let me know if you want any or all of those, because that's something that I enjoy ordering ahead, having it on hand, because like the game of playing what's going to be in stock, out of stock, isn't always a fun game for me. I like games, I'm competitive, but that's the game I don't like to play. All right, so here we have the card that I'm going to be making for you. Hi there, Lynette. Good to see you on here. And if you think, yes, this layout looks familiar, it could be because you've seen it with the Party Piggy, or recently with the Autumn Wishes, same layout here, or even before that, the cute little hippo for Halloween. So I love it when people say, I love this layout, I can't wait to make my Christmas cards with this and on. So then I know they've taken the next step past just seeing the card, and the next step of going with, how can I make more of this and copy this layout with what I want it to be, with my papers, with my colors, with my occasion and such. And that's always my goal, is to have that be a resource for you. So this card's going to come together quick and easy because it is from a previous class that I did. And I like to show you like the resources and products that it came from. So the Everyday Arches, I don't have the full set out right now, but they're great. I love using my Everyday Arches, and they're almost always in my at use pile, or I have different stacks of like, okay, that's being used right now, so it doesn't get put away, and they're almost always out there. And so the size that I use is second from the largest and then third from the largest. And so I've cut those out in cloud cover, and then that beautiful Peaceful Garden DSP, Designer Series paper. So it just kind of has a color wash on the one side, and I love this. I wish I had a shirt that has this pattern on it. I would probably wear it all the time. Okay, so as far as the layout goes, what I do to start is have a 8.5 by 4 1/4 piece of Secret Sea, scored at 4. Did I say 4.5? I meant 4 1/4. So 8.5, 4 1/4, scoring at 4 1/4. So it is squared then once it's scored and folded in half, 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 that way. And then what I do next is I have just another little piece of the Peaceful Garden Designer Series paper. This is 4 1/4 by 2 inches. And if you remember the video that I did last, I was showing the different papers that you might go, oh, yeah, I remember that one. And so sometimes, even if it isn't like, to me, this is like one of my top ones. There's like one that, like I said, I haven't even used yet because I love it so much, I'm saving it. But sometimes we go, okay, this one's kind of plain, and even the back side's not as like, oh, deep and rich as like this one. But then it's things like this where we just need that background paper. I mean, when pretty papers first came out, do you remember we all called them background papers? Because truly, that's what they were designed for, and what they were is background paper, not to be the focal point. And so this to me is a great background paper. It is more subtle in that, and there's a little bit more character and boldness on this, and so I wanted this to have a little bit more limelight, still not the focal point. And so I'm just going to put some adhesive on this as well. And part of the reason you might go, why do you keep making the same type of card? Well, I have classes that I love to do in person. And so if I can do different cards at each location, but maybe people love this layout, which they really have. And then each group gets to make a different looking card, but the same layout. So that's part of why I wanted to make sure that each location gets to see and make this layout. So that is why. Now I'm going to put adhesive, but only about 2/3 of the way up the back of this arch. And then I'm going to grab an envelope. This is very important, as I've mentioned in the past, because we don't want our arch to go too high up off our card where it's not going to fit in the envelope. So if I lay that there, I know that's going to be within the envelope, and then I'm just going to center that, and then I know that will fit in my envelope. So that is why I do that. And then also, I don't want adhesive too far up to stick past that. And also, if it does happen, like if you're making a bunch of these and you're really into the movie or whatever you're watching, just know that you could just cut out another one and put that on the back side here to cover up your adhesive here, and this will actually make it look like it was meant to be, even though it's a cover up. Don't you love it when our hidden, let's see, how can we hide the accident, actually make something look like on purpose? So that's good. I'm just going to set this aside a little bit. We're going to do just a little bit of stamping. I'm going to open up my Secret Sea ink pad. That is what the card base, I can't remember if I said that it was made out of Secret Sea. So that's what the card base is. So I want to coordinate with that. And with Deepest Sympathy is going to be stamped off to the side here. I'm going to try to center it from top to bottom, but it's going to be off to the side. And this, there must have been something from a stamp I cleaned that just water, but I see it's on there. So with this, you can see somebody even asked at the class that it looks like it has like a beveled edge, and I hope the camera can catch that. And so with the die cuts that are part of the Peace on Earth bundle here, you can see that after they're cut out, they leave a beveled edge on there, so that's great. There's 2 dies that do this frame. I'm using the smaller of the 2 dies for today's or this card here from the Peace on Earth. And now this I'm going to pop up, so I'm just going to put some dimensionals here, probably about, let's go like about 4 of them, like so. Take the tops off here. And then I'm just going to kind of use this as a little bit of a guide, that imaginary line where that little piece of the 2 by 4 1/4 is. Hi there, Julie. Good to see you on here. And that's going to be kind of where the base of this die cut is going to line up. It doesn't have to be perfect, all right? And yet it always looks better if it is. Let's be honest, right? Okay, so then the next thing that I did was cut these fun little sprigs here, and that's from the Peace on Earth dies as well. And in the Peace on Earth, or actually Peaceful Garden Suite collection, there's that glimmer shimmer paper. I always call it glimmer shimmer, even though it's probably just one or the other. It's Glimmer paper, Peaceful Garden Glimmer paper. It comes in the dark, which almost looks like Secret Sea, that royal blue color and kind of a silvery color. So what I did was took this die from the Peace on Earth bundle and cut this sprig out. And so I'm just going to kind of lay that here because that's where it's going to kind of end up being, is about right there. And then I'm going to, actually don't think I need to die cut. I've got some of these already die cut too for my class. All right, I've been using tons. Like if I don't even know how many, at least 100 or more of these doves that I've cut out, and we've only used like one per card. It's not like, oh, we had a card where there was a whole bunch used. But I keep cutting these doves out. They're so, so pretty. And I, as I was making this one up, I didn't know if I wanted my With Deepest Sympathy to be in white. And let's just kind of show you what that would look like. I felt like it just didn't have, I don't know, the classy look that I was going for. This wasn't bad, but I just felt like it just coordinated and looked so much better with the cloud cover. Yeah, this is the cloud cover on there too. And then if I did go white, I always like to show you my takes of what didn't make the cut type thing. And then I thought, well, if we're doing white here, I probably should do cloud cover of the doves and such. And like I said, not that it was terrible, but I just didn't like it as much as using this with the cloud cover and then having a white dove. And actually this to me seems crooked. It's kind of bugging me. And I was like, is it my label, my die cut label, or is it my stamping? But it is, yep, it's the label. Now that I've got that fixed there, then I feel better about that. Okay, like I said, I'm just going to kind of put that sprig there, and I've got a couple dimensionals here now on my dove, and so I'm just going to make that dove look like it's kind of got that in its beak. And I want to be careful so that I don't put it over too far or tip it so that the wings go off the card, because then that's not going to fit in the envelope either. And then let me just take a glue dot here, and I like to just kind of bunch it up and just kind of ball it up, and that's going to go underneath this top leaf there, because that's going to want to be held in place. This kind of gets held together because of those dimensionals, but just for the safe side, I'm going to do that same thing. Just kind of ball up the mini glue dot here, and then just put that behind one of these leaves too, and then that won't show at all. And then it just secures everything very nice there. And then I am going to add the accessories that go with that suite too, the hues of blue. These are just so pretty. Love them. And depending on the paper that I'm using and different things, it shows up better on some projects than others. On this one, I feel like it really shows up well. So I'm going to use one of the large ones and one of the small ones in the Secret Sea color. So we just have one there, one there. Usually I do kind of like the rule of 3, but I kind of feel like this whole dove is one of them, and then 2 and 3 that way. So hopefully that makes sense to you as well. Let me get that. And then for the inside, because it's a sympathy card, I'm not going to do too much to make it look too fancy or anything. So I'm just pulling over a basic white piece of cardstock here, 4 by 4 inches, because the base of my card is also that square 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. So I want the inside to be 4 by 4. Heartfelt prayers to match with Deepest Sympathy. And I'm just going to get some adhesive on there like so. So if you are interested, oh shoot, I got that smudge there. I don't like that at all. I'm going to set that aside. And I must have got ink on my thumb. We're going to restamp that. Okay, I can see I've got it there. Even though I tapped it lightly, it happens, and we all know, right? Okay, so let me restamp that. There we go. And who knows when it happened or how, but I'm glad I checked that before I just quickly put it on the inside. 'Cause sometimes the inside, you just stamp it quick and put it and go, done, right? All right, there we've got that. So hopefully you've enjoyed some inspiration with that Peaceful Garden bundle there. Like I said, it's so great because we always seem to need 60 cards, and then it also makes such nice and beautiful Christmas cards too, with the same bundle. The sentiments on there are so nice. The dies are so nice. The embellishments are so nice. Everything. Can you tell I love this Peaceful Garden suite? So if you have any questions on that, I'm going to be posting a still shot of this card and the shopping link to go with that too. And so not to be confused with the cards that I made earlier with the same suite. Those were a little bit more simple, but yet using a lot of the same products. So that's why I don't want the links to get mixed up that way too. But this one should be pretty easy to find because I put it with a picture. So enjoy and have a good evening. But before I go, quick, tomorrow, October 1st, like I forget, it's a brand new Stampin' Up! Year for us. Our Stampin' Up! Year, like for earning the trip, for our sales and our goals and our recognition, all ends today. And then tomorrow starts a new earning year for all of those same things. And tomorrow should also be a clearance, or I still want to call it clearance rack refresh, last chance refresh. So 1 o'clock a.m. tonight it starts for us in our time zone. So if you're a night owl and still up, you can look for things. Otherwise, as soon as you wake up in the morning, look and see if there's anything that's been marked down that's exciting to purchase. There's also a joining order. You can joining offer, excuse me. You can join, spend less, and get the same amount of product as you normally would if you're joining, or you can choose to spend the same amount that you would to join, but you're going to get more in your starter kit. So you choose which deal. Is it more important for you to spend less and get the same amount, or to spend more to get, or to spend the same to get more? So you decide what type of person you are if you want to join. Of course, I'd love you to join my team. I love my team members, and I love to spoil and pamper them throughout the year with different things. And so if that's something that is interesting to you, please let me know, reach out to me, and I would be glad to help you with that as well. So hopefully I can get my newsletter worked on for more details about what I just mentioned too, as well as you can see here if you follow my Facebook page, some upcoming events that I've added too for in-person events. So hopefully you can see that and maybe attend too as well. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.